Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second developer livestream, where, if you read the description, as I'm sure you can tell, today we're going to be talking about the potential release date for the closed beta, as well as some of the dungeon traps you can expect to see, and showcasing one of them in action, as well as the usual giveaways and, other miscellaneous stuff. And, soon, hopefully, we'll be able to actually show you guys Laneksia. Because so far, progress on it is going pretty slow. But, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so... Hello, Ufer Nation. Welcome to the stream. You were the first one to actually... Well, I don't know if you're the first person to join, but you're the first person to say something. So, there's nothing new out here, but, well, there's really not much of anything to show off except for the dungeon trap. Because this stream is mostly just going to be talking about hypothetical stuff and, potential updates and whatnot. We're really only going to be showing one thing today, which you may have already seen it if you have a good eye, or maybe if you just see it because it's kind of out of place and hard to miss, but anyway. So let's start off with the thing that, if anyone's here, they're probably here for this. Oh, and also I should say, I probably already said this, but if I haven't, this is going to be a shorter stream just because there's not as much material to cover. But, if it's, still around an hour, then hey. But, yeah, the release dates. Right now, we're looking at the potential release date for the closed beta is probably going to be somewhere around November, if not December of this year, which is 2020 if you're watching this in the future, or you just look at the streamed live date. But anyway, that's pretty exciting, for me at least, considering that we've been making this game for about 22 months now. And, I don't know if this is the same person with a different name or a different person, because they both have the same icon, but welcome, Cigar Dude. I hope I'm saying that right. But with the closed beta, there's not going to be any mods in the server at that point, because as of right now anyway, I don't have a way to actually implement mods onto the PS4 server, because this server is hosted on a PS4, so if I can't get mods on here, then the server doesn't have any of them, and yeah. Anyway, you might not see those for a few months. But the closed beta, you can expect to see Laneksia in its finished state with all the dungeons and landmarks and whatnot. And in those dungeons, basically, you go through them, dodge all the traps, try to survive through all of it, get to the dungeon boss, fight the boss, and if you win, then you get XP, based on the level of that dungeon, and open the chest for some randomly generated loot. And since there's a limited number of dungeons in a certain place, they reset, like every dungeon resets all at once at about maybe once every like hour or so. It depends on how many there are, honestly, and how long it takes for people to actually clear out all of them. But we're gonna start it off with, every hour all the dungeons reset, which, the boss spawns back in, all the chests get refilled with loot, and all the loot changes as well. And that's about it. But for the dungeon reset, I do plan that once a week there will be the dungeons will change locations. Like on the weekly reset, every dungeon will be in a completely different spot on the map. But I don't know when that whole thing is actually going to start happening. That might start in the closed beta, or it might only start happening after the full release. I'm not really sure yet. Of course, I will let you guys know as soon as I do know about that, because it's kind of my job with this whole thing. Anyway, so that's just kind of the core gameplay of all this. Then, also in the closed beta, there's going to be the tutorial level, which, if I actually go over here to this guy, I'm sorry if you guys can hear any background noise, like buttons on my controller or anything. Not really a lot that I can do about that, but I know it can get annoying. It probably just sounds really tacky. I do apologize for that. If you go to this guy right here, not really sure how he's going to work just yet, but basically you talk to this guy and he takes you to a tutorial, if you've already done it once, because when you first start for the first time, after you choose your character, you get taken to the tutorial level, where you can learn a few things about combat and, what the story's like, what you can expect, what you have to do, all that stuff, Then after you finish the tutorial, you travel to the hub for the first time. And if you want to, you can, the tutorial kind of continues on after that point, where it takes you to all the different, shops and whatnot in the hub, so that way you can actually see what they all are. But if you don't care about that, then you can just skip the hub tutorial and just be on your merry way, and just go about doing whatever. Then after that point, you can go to the Atlas thing, which is probably going to be right in front of spawn, where you can actually teleport to Raglan, which you will spawn right here. And from here you can go out, go to any other province, do whatever you gotta do. And if you want to go back to the hub for any reason, you can talk to this woman right here. And she's gonna kind of work the same way as this guy, where talk to her and she just teleports you back to the hub. Simple as that. But, what else? Now, here's one thing I'm not actually certain about. I do know that the marketplace right here is more than likely not going to be implemented until a later update. But if it does come out in the closed beta, that'll be pretty neat, because people can actually buy and sell things from each other. But don't hold your breath for the marketplace to come with the closed beta. It's probably not going to be out until later. Then, some of the shops might actually be up and running by the closed beta, where, for example, if you have enough, sovereigns or rubies or shillings or whatever you might have. Sorry about that. If you have enough currency to buy stuff, you can go to either this guy right here, you can go to one of these, and there will be some kind of thing you can interact with, and it'll say, are you sure you want to buy this for whatever currency it is? And if you say yes, it takes that currency from your account and just adds that item to your inventory. So if I wanted to buy this guy and I had 120 sovereigns, I would just press some button or something over here, and it would ask if I wanted to buy it, and if I say yes, it charges me the sovereigns and gives me, or adds this creature to my inventory. Then I can summon it whenever I want to. But I will say, this guy won't actually be, you can't actually use this mount and fighting ally until I can actually get some of the mods up and running for the server. Which, depending on what I'm able to do, that might be a few months down the line. Because there is one idea that I have that I could actually use to get mods running, but if that doesn't work, then I'll just have to sit here and wait. But anyway, that kind of goes the same with all the other shops, where next to the sign where you see there will be like a button or something right here. You press the button, it asks you if you want to buy it. Say yes, it gives you the thing and charges you. Say no, nothing happens. So yeah, you can expect that from all these shops here, pretty much. Buy it, gives you the item, charges you the stuff, and that's pretty much it. Then you can just go about your day and just have the stuff. Now with this one, it's a little bit different because it doesn't give you an item, it just enchants whatever item you're holding, which has to be a weapon, just because that's the way /enchant works. And again, with the behavior packs and mods and stuff, I can't really change it to work on any item, because I can't put mods on the PS4 version yet. Yay. But, this might be a really short stream, because I was expecting today to take a little bit longer to cover all this stuff, but it might only be like 20 or 30 minutes. But it might still end up being about an hour, I don't know. That's the thing over there. And in case you haven't seen it already, then there it is. Oh. And also, see, there's the hub I talked about, the shopping center and marketplace and all that. In the closed beta, or just every update that we don't have the mod pack running, none of the characters will actually have any of their abilities. They'll just have their, their weapons, armor, food, and whatever else. But they won't actually have any of their abilities working. Now, it is technically possible for me to get them working with just, a ton of command blocks. But one, that would probably lag out the server a lot, more so than it already is. And two, the main problem I have with that is, since it would be using /replace item to constantly give you that ability back, so you can just use it whenever, if you put any item in that slot, you can say goodbye to that item, because you are not going to have enough time to pick it back up before it just disappears. So basically, for example, if you put your sword in this slot right here for your first ability, that thing is gone, because as soon as you put it there, like a tenth or a 20th of a second of you putting it there, it's just gone, and it immediately gets replaced by that first ability. So that's one of the problems that I do want to work out, which I do have a way to actually prevent that from happening, but I can't prevent that without it being a modded item, which I'm sure you guys are starting to see how heavily this server is depending on mods and stuff, because it's very heavily modded. Not right now, obviously, but, and there will be 3 different abilities that, if you put an item in any of those slots, they're as good as gone. So all I have to do is just make it so that you can't put any items right here. So basically what I'm thinking of doing is just making like taking how you have Curse of Binding on armor, and you can't take it off if you're in adventure or survival mode, and if you put another item there, it doesn't do anything. I'm basically just going to be taking that and just making it applicable to any item in your inventory, more specifically your hotbar. So that way, if it won't actually have Curse of Binding on it, but the item will still behave as if it does. So that way, if the item is already in these slots, and it will still act like it has Curse of Binding. So say if I wanted to put this right here, replacing my first ability, I wouldn't be able to do it because the item acts as if it has Curse of Binding, so it wouldn't allow me to put it in that slot, therefore preventing this item from being destroyed by this other one, if that makes any sense. But I can't do that until I am actually able to add the mods onto the server. So there are going to be new abilities during the closed beta, and any future updates that don't have the mod pack active. But let's see, what else is there? There's probably a few other things. There's also the prologue for the story, which is where you get introduced to all the main characters and what everything's about, just how things are going and what you gotta do. All that. More tells you, hey, you gotta save the world by getting strong enough to defeat this guy. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than that, but that's just, basic summary of it. Then, after he tells you about all that, you go into the tutorial where the game asks you, hey, what character do you want to choose? And you choose one of the starter ones, and like, hey, okay, good, you got a character now. We're going to start training you how to actually do stuff. And that's where the tutorial starts, where it teaches you, combat, potion effects, a little bit about the story, how to, move around and do different things. And after that, you exit the tutorial area, and it just introduces you to, the baseline for the story and all that stuff. Then you get teleported to the hub and all that, like I just said earlier, where it tells you all the different places in the hub, and so on. Then after that, you can go into Ragnarland and spawn inside the clock tower, and from there you can just start your journey. And of course, if you ever want to go back to the tutorial or the hub, you can just talk to either one of the people inside the clock tower, and they can just teleport you back there. But, right now, this might change before the closed beta releases, but as of right now, it's free to go back to the hub. You just, talk to this woman, she's like, hey, want to go back to the hub? And you say, yeah, just teleport back. But, at a later update, now this might be discarded. Like, the whole thing might just completely change, or it might stay the same, I don't know. Basically, there are these different runes that all do different things, and one of them is called a Rune of Homely Origins. And basically you can only have 5 at once, and they're pretty easy to craft. You can craft them at, blacksmith or something. Just, not really sure exactly what resource it's gonna be, but some very simple things like, I don't know, stone plus some kind of magic thing, I don't know, some really simple thing. And basically you talk to her, give her the rune, she takes it and uses it to take you back to the hub. Now, if that does end up, like if that system ends up getting really tedious where you have to go over to the blacksmith, make one rune just to go back to go to the hub for one thing, then you come back. Like, if it gets super tedious where you have to just do that just to do one simple thing, then we're probably going to remove that whole system or just make it better. But, I mean, for right now, I don't really know how the game is going to play out because no one knows how this game is going to play because it's not actually out. No one can play it yet. But I guess we'll have to see. Time will tell. Then on to the next thing. So, what was the next thing? Thinking probably, yeah, okay. So, now we're going to be talking about the dungeon traps. Then that will kind of hopefully lead into Laneksia, because there's a few more things that I can tell you guys about for that. But like I said earlier, can't really show you guys any of it yet because it's not done. I mean, it's getting pretty close. The mainland area is actually only like one or two more pieces of land, and it's just done. But then we have to worry about the side parts. Then after that, we can actually start to make all the other parts to, actually seal it off and make it seem at least, somewhat natural. Then after that point, we should be able to start showing it in like a public stream or something. But that probably won't be, probably won't be at that point until like next week or not next week. Like the week after next maybe. I would kind of be surprised if we didn't have that much stuff done by the week after next, because 2 weeks of progress, But anyway, so I'm sure you guys have seen it a lot, just because I've been glossing over it here and there. But if I actually do this, there we go. This is the one dungeon trap that we actually have that you can show in action. They will say there's this one, which is a flamethrower. Then there's also the spike trap, which can be... all these traps, except for 2 of them, can be on the wall, floor, or ceiling. So all the ones that can be on the wall, floor, or ceiling are the flamethrower, the spike trap, which as I'm sure you can tell, the flamethrower just shoots flames. That's simple. The spike trap, basically, there's a bunch of aligned holes, wherever it may be, and every few seconds spikes will come jutting out of them, and if you get hit by them, they'll do some damage. Then there's also a fall pit trap where the floor just collapses, as if it's like 2 adjacent trap doors. They just fall, and it's usually either a spike pit or a lava pit or something like that. And the floor comes back and you can walk on it and get past that. Then also, there's another one where the trapdoors are on the ceiling and they drop down, and there's some kind of just random enemy like zombies or some kind of archer or something like that. Or it could also be a cave in, like some sand or gravel or something. Or if you get stuck in it, you're not gonna have a good time. Then, the other 2 types of traps, which can only spawn on the ceiling, are the swinging pendulums and the rotating saw blades. Where, basically there will be little gaps in the walls and the floor where, not only we have to jump over the gap, but with the pendulum one, basically it's just a big wrecking ball, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. Like, it's just a big, like, whatever kind of ball, I'm not really sure what kind of material they're made out of, but a big wrecking ball on a chain that swings from side to side, that if it hits you, it's gonna do damage. Because that's what pendulums do. Then, a very similar one is the rotating saw blade, where It's basically like just a circular saw, but it's also spinning extremely fast, and it's on a motor, so that way it I don't know why I said that. It goes from side to side, where it comes out one wall, goes through, and goes into the other wall, and it just spins around in a circle, and it just repeats the cycle over and over again. Basically, it comes out of one wall and goes into the other one, and it takes a few seconds to come back around, so take that few seconds to actually get past that, jump over the gap, and move on to the even further into the dungeon. Then, oh, right. I forgot one of the traps. This one is actually one of the ones that can also spawn on the floor. This one is the piston trap, which kind of self-explanatory, piston pushes things. But except instead of pushing things, this one just squishes stuff, let's just say. Because it's a giant piston, usually about, 3 by 3 meters, something like that, where every few seconds it will hit the other side of the wall at a very high speed. So anything that's within, or anything that is in the path of that piston is going to be flattened like a pancake. Yeah, anyway, enough with the hypothetical imagery. This is one of the traps that we actually have, or, well, the only trap that we have able to showcase. And it is the flamethrower, which I may have already said earlier, but this is the little dungeon scenario that I set up here. Nothing too glamorous, but it gets the job done. So you're walking in, walk over here. Whoa, what's that? And I will say with the fire here, it's supposed to be one continuous stream instead of just one per block, but the flash particle command was like, oh, I'm not gonna let you do what you want because screw your imagination. Like, oh, okay. And it's not normally like this where it's just constantly here. Normally the fire clears out after like a few seconds, or well, maybe like around 2 seconds, clears out for 2 seconds, then comes back. But it does glitch out sometimes, like it is right now, where it just is staying here for some reason. But it's supposed to be like this for 2 seconds, then that, then it cools down again. And I'm sure you can see how it's like kind of, blinking here and there where it disappears for a split second. That's what it's supposed to do, but except it's supposed to, the fire is supposed, like whenever you see the white smoke here, that's when the flamethrower is cooling down. Whenever you see that, that means the fire isn't supposed to be here. So when the fire is above this, then yeah, you get the idea. But basically, what happened is, like after the thing stops shooting out, it would do this. You can walk through, and you can get past it. But for some reason, it's glitching out because Bedrock has a lot of bugs to do with redstone and stuff. Fun. But anyway, so yeah, that's the flamethrower, and there are a few things you can do to kind of, to cheat the system, which, I mean, you'll probably still catch on fire, but you can jump over it. You can also do it this way, but I mean, yeah, but yeah, you see what else there is. So you talk about the release date, oh, right. Laneksia. So none of this is going to be in during the closed beta, unless miraculously there's some method I can use to download mods onto my PS4, or put the save file for this world onto my PC. Because if I can't do either of those things, then we're going to be stuck with no mods, which is kind of boring, but hey, maybe that's just me. Basically, every province has their own different types of enemies, and with Laneksia, I may have said this in the last stream, but this is a different one. So I'm just going to expand upon it. There's going to be different types of cactuses. I think there's 3 different types. There's one of them that it looks like a normal cactus, but as soon as you walk up to it, it sprouts out of the ground and uses its roots as legs to crawl. Or not crawl, but, walk around. And it just kind of, bumps into you and just, taps you here and there or whatever. Because cactuses have spikes in them, and yeah, those kind of hurt. And another one is, there's different species of cactus and stuff. That one is, more tall and skinny and kind of walks around slowly. But, there's probably going to be another one that's just in the ground, where on its own it doesn't really do anything, but if you walk close enough to it, the spikes kind of jut out even further. Or if you're standing 1 meter away from it, then it would say, "Oh hey, I see you're standing next to me." So it just stabs you with the spikes, or similarly to the spike trap, how the spikes come out of the wall, except it's cactus spikes, and they just go out an entire meter, which is bigger than the cactus itself, so it doesn't make sense, but who cares? This is a fantasy game. Then there's another one that is, this one was actually, I want to say it was inspired by, if you guys have ever played Mario, which, if you haven't, where was your childhood? If you guys know the desert levels, which is usually World 2, those cactuses that were segments, they're little, balls that were stacked up on top of each other, and the top one had a flower budding out of it. It also had a face, where it would just slowly slide more towards you. You know those ones that are super tall? They have 8 little ball cactuses stacked up on top. You know the one. I want to say it's inspired by that one, where it's kind of just a very slim, very tall cactus that all it does is, as soon as it gets close to you, it just face plants. It literally, it looks at you, and it just falls in whatever direction you're standing. They're very easy to dodge. You just walk a little bit, to the left or the right. They fall on the ground. You can just, hit them a few times. They go down pretty easy. But yeah. So I think that's all for the cactuses. Then, if you guys have been looking at the side of the screen over here, you may see right now how it says there's a raid boss. Right now there's only 2 of them in Laneksia. There's the Pyramid King and the Sand-Showered Colossus. Which, the Pyramid King is basically a cobra made entirely out of sand with a pyramid on his head, because for some reason he thinks it's his crown or something. I don't know why. But yeah, basically he just, does snake things, or one of his attacks is to bite. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Then another one is the tail whip or something. Then, also sometimes he'll jump and land back down to create a big wave of sand that will temporarily blind you. Then, once he gets down to low health, he'll jump up in the air and dive into the ground. Then he'll come back up, where only the pyramid on his head will be above the ground, and he'll start spinning around until eventually he's spinning so fast that somehow sand starts jetting out of the top of the pyramid on his head. Don't ask me how I came up with these ideas, they just randomly appeared in my mind, and I was just like, oh. Okay, I guess I'll just add that. But basically then the sand comes falling back down, and if you get hit by it, it blinds you for, a few seconds with sand, because, yeah, getting sand on your face can make it difficult to see. But, then after he's done doing that, he slows down, comes back up above the ground, then you can start hitting him again. And after that, he shouldn't do that anymore. Then you can just kind of, just KO, just kill him there, and he's dead, falls into the ground. Then, yay, the world's saved. Raid boss is dead, And the other one is the Sand-Showered Colossus, which is literally just a big person, pretty much. Except he too is made entirely of sand. So basically all the time he just has sand falling off of his body and onto the ground, just for, aesthetic effect. Just to make it look cool, I guess. I don't know. But he has some simple things like, swiping from, right to left for, like, if you're standing right in front of him, or takes both of his hands, put them into a fist, and just stomps the ground and just creates a huge ripple of sand, or just a simple punch, or, there's a few other things. Those are just the most basic ones, really. Then, I think that's about it for him, honestly. Because with him, unlike the Pyramid King, when he comes out of the ground, his legs are still in the ground, but his torso, like his waist and up, like, the waist and torso and everything else, all that's above ground, but for some reason his legs are underground. I'm not really too sure why. Never really questioned that, just kind of went with it, just like, oh, okay, that's just how he is, I guess. And, yeah. But, after he's down, he just falls back into the ground. Raid boss is dead, life goes back to normal. Just same old stuff. Then, apart from and I also should mention, raid bosses are typically about 30 meters tall. So, 90 feet, for those of you who don't know the difference in meters to feet. But yeah, 30 meters, they're pretty tall boys. Then also somewhere around 20 to 30 meters wide, depending, because like the Pyramid King is probably only about 10 meters wide because he's a cobra, so he's taller than he is wide. But Tsunami is probably almost as wide as he is tall. Maybe, I don't know. But and those are all the raid bosses we currently have for Laneksia. So with the regular enemies, you can also expect to see Egyptian warriors, which you can most commonly find outside of villages, or, like safe zones and stuff, trying to invade the villages, because, that's, has to do with the story and stuff where they're corrupted and they became genocidal, and now they just want to kill all the innocent village dwellers. And you can also find them just randomly, walking, just about, out and about, walking around, just living life, Or you can also sometimes find them inside dungeons. Usually interior dungeons, like underground ones. That would be like, I don't know, like a catacomb or like a pyramid tomb or something like that. Things like that. But, other than that, I don't really know. Those might be the only types of enemies that you can actually find in Laneksia. I'm probably missing one or two of them, but those are the ones that I can think of. Those are the only ones that I actually remember being there, so yeah, that's what you can expect to see if you go there. You go to the Sea of Sand, as I like to call it, because it's nothing but sand. But anyway, I should stop breaking stuff. I have a really bad habit at that. What else is there? That might be it. Yeah, I think that's about it. So now, I said this is a little bit of a shorter stream. It's almost an hour, not quite, but almost. I mean, the last one was like an hour and a half, so, you know. Now we can actually get onto the giveaway, which I don't know how well that's going to be considering we only have one person. But, for any of you who want to enter the giveaway, just say in the chat right now, SC giveaway or SCGA, all caps, or not all caps, not like case sensitive, so you can just, either way, honestly, it doesn't really matter. No spaces, it's literally just the word SC giveaway or SCGA. It's all just the 4 letters or the 2 words. No spaces, just the whole thing all at once. And regardless of if anyone joins the giveaway or not, it'll end in about 2 or 3 minutes. If no one joins, then, if no one enters, then, that's that. We do this, typically every dev stream, but maybe if we do a stream for a different reason, then you might do it for that too, but I don't know. But other than that, after that's done, I think that's about it. So I'm just gonna wait about 2 more minutes, and we'll see. This part might get a little bit boring because we're just sitting here waiting, and I don't really have anything to talk about. Honestly, I should probably just skip the giveaway since there's, according to the stream here on YouTube, only one person is watching, so there is literally no competition at all. But I'll just wait anyway, just because, why not, giveaway's a giveaway. So if you did come here just for the update news and whatnot, then you can just safely leave the stream right now because there is nothing else like update related or roadmap or whatever related that I'm going to be talking about. It's from here on, it's just a giveaway. Then after that, it should be done. But if you still care about the giveaway, then sure, just stick around. Or if you just want to stay here for whatever reason, then yeah. And the giveaway has ended. No one entered. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, thank you guys all for, those of you who did come out. Thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. If you want to catch the next stream, then, I would recommend hitting the subscribe button because there's not really a guaranteed chance you'll find the next one by next or the week after next. If it's not in your sub feed or something. Or if you don't want to, then I guess just don't subscribe. Yeah. If you liked this dev stream, then there's this neat little like button down below that if you press it, it'll let me know you like the video, and I'll just do more stuff like this. Well, not like I'll stop doing dev streams unless I have nothing to talk about, but you get the idea. If you, on the other hand, hated it for whatever reason, or just didn't like it, there's also this nifty little thing called the dislike button, so yeah, pretty neat. And if you know somebody who you think might like it, or you just know somebody who you want to see this for whatever reason, there's also a share button, which you can use to send a link to other people so they can also watch this. And what else? Oh, right. If you're watching this after the stream is already over, and you have any thoughts that you wanted to put into words, then consider leaving a comment down below. If that may be, feedback, or just whatever crosses your mind, or whatever else, that's what the comments are there for. But anyway, with all that said, that's about it. So, thank you to those of you who did come out. I'll see you the week after next, which I think is the second week of October, probably. But yeah, anyway, that's it. So thank you for coming out, and I will see you in about 2 weeks. So yeah, goodbye everyone.